All right, we're good. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Garage Shop Insider Podcast. My name is Tim Packman, their host. We haven't done these in a while, but we're going to fire them back up again. We'll do these every couple of weeks or month, whatever we decide to do there. Our guest tonight is Kearns. He's our shop foreman, crew chief, driver himself on asphalt and maybe dirt, I found out earlier today, but we're going to find out. Yeah. And we're going to talk about some projects we have going on here. We're going to talk about this beast that's coming to life behind us, this ProMod Plymouth Roadrunner. It has two seats in it. We're going to talk about why in a little bit. But first of all, Derek, thanks for being on here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's always good to sit down and talk about shop stuff and inform people about what we're doing and get some interest going here.
Okay. Basically, what give us a little bit of your background so people know who they're talking to there.
I worked in racing for 9-10 years before I moved to Michigan. And when I was in Michigan, I continued doing racing stuff. But here I was car chief, fabricator, jackman, tire changer, did interim crew chief stuff for half a season.
Who'd you do that for?
That was when I was working for an ARCA team for Sean Core when I worked with John Bellisfield.
Okay, I know Sean, number 8.
Yep. Pitted for lots of different people all the way up to the Cup Series as jackman and stuff. Worked for a friend of mine through DST and did stuff for those guys. So did lots of stuff to that throughout the years. Then I moved to Michigan. I started racing myself up there. I built a late model and raced and helped lots of people up there, friends and stuff, and helped them build cars and bodies and things, and crew chief for some of those guys, and helped out and did a lot of stuff up there. So I moved back here, and then not long after I moved back here, I met Aaron and hired me to work here at the shop. And
how long ago was that?
I met him last year. I spotted for him at Hickory for him and another guy they had driving for him, and we just kind of hit things off, and they asked me to come back to another race that year. And then I went out to Bonneville last year for my first time going to Bonneville, just as more of a friend, just to go out and hang out and see things. And things just went from there. And they put up a thing. They were looking for a fabricator at the end of the winter, beginning of the spring, and I came in and gave me a job, and that's that.
So you're coming up on a year now.
It'll be a year in March.
Okay,
I think March.
It's close.
Yeah. So
first time I remember meeting you, I never seen you before, and all of a sudden we had guys showing up in Bonneville. I'm like, who are these guys? And you were one of them, and I'm like, all right, who's this guy? And I don't mean this bad, but I don't get really close to people until I know they'll be around for a while. Otherwise, something I learned in the Navy. But I was watching. I remember watching, like, first you're grooving tires, then you're doing this, then you're doing. I'm like, okay, this guy knows his stuff. And then you started talking a little bit. I'm like, oh, this guy has a lot of experience. So and it shows in what you do, and that's kind of went from working to now you're the shop foreman. So what are your duties here with the garage shop?
Yeah, I started as a fabricator when Aaron hired me, and it was only 3-4 months into it. He asked me if I would be the foreman here, and I accepted that, obviously, and things have been going real well. But as a foreman, I oversee the shop on the fab side of stuff, and mostly all of our building cars and all those things. Work with Aaron one-on-one with stuff as far as what we're building and the design things on stuff with our engineers and different stuff like that.
Okay, so you were an integral part of the Roadsters, which are behind us there, coming to life. And
yeah.
What was that like, taking something like just from a table up through the whole building process?
It was really cool. When I started, they had one car. It was already on the plate, and I would say 75% done. The second car was just frame rails on the table. And they went through that one from the get-go. And on the final side of things, me and Aaron worked together a lot on finishing some things up and doing some of the body things and some of the buttoning up, finished fab stuff. And then obviously we went through some things after our first time out and changed. We short of cutting the whole clip off, we changed everything on the front end of them.
That was a lot of work. We brought that back from Spaceport. Bonneville got washed out.
Yep.
And we came back here, and then you guys went to town on both those cars. I was like, ooh, that's a major renovation. So party is going on. Maybe it's a good thing that we did rain out at Bonneville, because otherwise, but then we brought them back, and then we took them to Arkansas Mile there, and the results were way better.
Yeah, we had a few little issues with the steering stuff on the front end of the cars, and with what we had, we couldn't correct it to what we wanted for satisfactory-wise, so we cut off the steering boxes and front end stuff and lower four link bars and redesigned all that with different front suspension with wishbone and a different steering box and put a sway bar on it. So a complete redesign. Like I said, we didn't have to cut the whole front clip off, but everything short of that we changed on the front end, and it worked really well for sure. It was a big improvement, and we took Aaron's car down to Bonneville and tested it first. When we did that,
with Arkansas.
Yeah, sorry.
That's it.
Sorry.
Don't feel like we went back and watched something. We did a sneaky test.
Yeah,
we couldn't. Unless we had a
went
boat.
to Arkansas. Excuse me.
And that test went very well.
Yeah, we took Aaron's car out to Arkansas and did a test with that. It went real well. We learned a lot of things with that, and then we applied all those things to Vance's car, and we went with Vance to a actual event through ECTA for the harvest. Yep.
That's the East Coast Timing Association. That was a sanctioned event, and I got to tell you, you guys, right out of the truck, right off the trailer, you guys were hitting it.
Yeah, that went real well. Like I said, we had some improvements from the time before, so it was a good thing for everybody to get the comfort back in the cars from where we were at. Vance did a very good job. He was happy with the car. He's happy with the team. We got some good speed in the car. We did a 200-mile-an-hour pass, which was very good.
We did 204.
Yeah.
We went from 199.7 to 197, 198, and then the last one I remember watching it going, it sounded like it, because I was like halfway down the track. Yeah. I said, this sounds like the one. And when they said 198 at the mile, I'm like, oh, this has got to be it. And they said 204 at the mile and quarter. I was like, and it was just a great job by you guys. It was awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was definitely a team effort. We all had a lot of time and effort put into correcting some things that we had that was going on there, and everyone did a real good job at that event.
If anybody's any questions for Derek now, ask him throughout. Well, that's why I have this phone here, so I can pick him up and we can ask him. Talk to me about this beast coming to life behind us right here. What was the basis of why are we building this one?
In a nutshell, it's a Pro Mod chassis. We are building it to test the engine and engine management system that we're building for a streamliner.
So this is Steve Morris engines.
Yep, Steve Morris is building our engine. It's a Noonan Pro-charged engine. It's Noonan Hemi with a F4 Pro-charger.
That answers that question.
Yep.
Have a Hemi in it. Go ahead.
And yeah, Steve Morris is building the engines for us for that. He's underway on those right now. So when we get this car completed, its first purpose in life will be to test our engines and the engine management system with Motec and all of our stuff that we'll be integrating into the Streamliner.
This is the prelude to the Streamliner, which is off camera right on the other side of us here, and that's been sitting for a while. But now with the progress on this picking up, that's going to carry over to the Streamliner. So we're going to take and run this, and then we'll get the data and everything we need, and then decide what to put on the Streamliner, right?
Yeah, we'll use this to work out any bugs we have with the engine and stuff and make sure it's all up to par before we take the Streamliner out. Obviously, it'll be a lot harder to take the Streamliner somewhere and test with the speeds and the size of it, so we can work those things out with something that's easier to take somewhere and test and run for a sustained amount of time. Because that's the thing, these engines, they usually build them for big horsepower engines for 3-second 8-mile passes and
sorry, this is live. I apologize.
Passes.
Excuse me.
So it's asking a lot different of the engine to run 5 miles that would be a Bonneville for a sustained amount of time. So that's why we've got Steve working on it. He's real good. He builds all the cars that do drag week, so he has a lot of experience with building cars that stay together for other than just a 3-second pass. And he said he was really looking forward to this project and doing something new. And this will give us the test bed to test those engines after he gets them built to make sure they'll perform the way we need to before we haul all up, a Streamliner, 35 feet and multiple trailers. It's a big operation to take that thing somewhere.
Yep.
So it'll be good to get it here and get those things worked out. And plus, it's a really cool project to build something none of us here at the Garage Shop have built before. Our new employee Harlan, he's got lots of drag racing experience.
And who do you work with? Some girl named named,
Shirley Muldowney.
Shirley Muldowney, that's it. Yeah.
He worked for the Snake. I think he's been on like four NHRA Top Fuel Dragster Championship teams. So he's got a little experience to say the least.
He started with us this week, and we were talking about the design, the engineering. Our cameraman / engineer, Dylan Godinez, is there. He's behind the camera here. And word is, Dylan, we can see you in the bathroom mirror. We'll have the door open in the bathroom over there.
Nice.
He's so shy. Hey, you know what? It's the garage shop. We keep it real. Any questions? Tony said, "See in the mirror." Any questions or comments for Derek? Now's the time to ask them. We're going to be here probably till 6 o'clock. So while we're talking, now you drive yourself, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, like I said, when I moved to Michigan, I built a asphalt late model. Took my time building it, and I raced up there, local at short tracks.
How'd you do? How'd you do?
I did well. I didn't get any feature wins. It seemed like I always had some issues there, but had multiple heat wins and fast heat wins, and always ran good. Just never seemed like I could quite get the checker flag in the main events, but had a lot of fun.
What tracks did you run up? What tracks?
I ran Springport and Spartan were the two tracks that I ran the most. Both of those tracks were within 20 minutes of me, but I ran at Kalamazoo, ran at M40. Trying to think. Those are the only tracks I raced at myself, but I helped other people at Flat Rock and Owasso, several different tracks throughout the area.
So you're up there for a while, and you won a bunch of heats, which is nice. But everyone wants that feature win.
Yes, sir.
Competitive racing up there in late models.
Very competitive. And like I said, I always ran good, so I wasn't. Obviously, you're disappointed if you don't win the race, but if I showed up, I always had a top 5 car anywhere I went, typically. So it was always a good time. And anywhere you go, it's hard competing against people who have bigger budgets than you do, but it feels good to have a car you built yourself and you worked hard at to go out and run against those guys and stuff.
Well, good. So then you moved back down here.
Yeah, I moved back home here, and the difference in racing from there to here is I have a straight rail chassis, which would be a Pro Late or Super Late down here. Up in Michigan, they run those cars weekly, so it was a lot easier for me to run those up there because every track ran them weekly as a late model / sportsman. So it was a little more affordable. They run weekly and stuff. You don't have to travel. Down here, that's a traveling series, and I ran with the Carolina Pro Lates a few races that Keith puts on, which is a very good series.
Graham, yep.
And
but the announcer's terrible, but
yeah, he's not too bad. He's pretty good at podcasts too. But that would be this guy.
Well, so we had an opportunity to announce when we went to Carteret County Speedway. Was that July 4th weekend?
It was.
And we went there, and you got a top 5 out of the deal. You hung in there. The 13 wasn't totally unlucky, and it was fun to. From an announcer standpoint, it's fun to know personally someone in the field that you work with every day. So, of course, you're cheering for him, but I couldn't really cheer for you openly.
Yeah.
But it was fun to watch, and then, we stayed after and camped out and had some pizza and had some fun.
Yeah, camping out's always a good time at the racetrack.
Yeah. So what's your plan now? Now, the car, you have sort of sold it?
Yeah, I decided to go do some dirt racing next year.
Really?
So I bought a dirt late model that I'm going to rebuild over the winter and go do that next year.
Where are you going to do that?
Well, we got some room across the street, so that's my plans for that. And I did, I got I got my late model sold to a guy locally. He's going to race it next year.
Good.
He took it out and he did a test with it, and he's very happy with the car. So, that'll be my plan next year is to go do some dirt late model racing.
So have you ever raced dirt before?
I have not, so it'll be a learning curve. I have lots of experience in asphalt racing. I've did it since I was 18, 19 years old. So making those things turn left and go on a circle, I was pretty decent at.
I'm going to go left and then turn right.
Dirt will be a learning curve, but we got some good people here that got a lot of experience that I can lean on that want to help, and so I think it'll be a good deal.
I got one up. I've raced dirt twice.
Yeah, nice.
See how it turned out. Here I am. Anyways, any questions? Like I said, now's the time to ask Derek projects we have going on here. This is our shop foreman. He's the one who can tell you best about everything. So in addition to the Pro Mod, we have the Corvette sitting back there. That's been on, not like a restoration. We're kind of converting it from a regular street car
it's
to a land speed car, and that thing is gut kid.
He came to us and with interest of running some land speed events with that Corvette. He sat down and we talked to him. His goals was to run it in the stock class. So the body right now, as we've been documenting, we're going to have to cut up. It has the fender flares on it for the wide body kit. Well, the stock class, you can't have those, so we have to cut those off and put it back to a stock body. And then we put a roll cage in it, and we can.
Sorry, I swallowed on.
We'll get a roll cage put in it, and all new suspension. The body has to stay stock for the class. We'll get a big block put in it, and his goal is to run 200 mile an hour with it. So
at Bonneville and
at Bonneville this coming
El
up
Mirage too. Is he thinking?
I'm not sure on that. I know for sure he wants to go to Bonneville with it this year and get his feet wet, land speed racing, and his goal with that's 200 mile an hour. But yeah, it is. It's a very, very nice car to cut up. And
we've had people crying in the shop. We've had people online going, "No, not that beautiful car." I had someone went out for wings on Sunday. A friend of mine, someone goes, "What are you doing to that car?" I said, "That's the customer. It's what he wanted. He hired us to do that."
Yep.
And we are taking more work on. If you want a Pro Mod chassis, we can do those too. Aaron wanted me to slide that in for anybody. Just get in touch with us. We're glad to talk to you. So this is going to be like, are we cutting the flares off, and then how are we going to get the roll cage in?
Well, we're going to take the body off the car, completely off, and we'll do all the suspension work and everything with that.
Kind of see behind us, kind of building it from the...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. I believe we're going to... We've talked about possibly having them come scan the body, and then we'd have a 3D model of the inside of it. Then we could design the roll cage in CAD, which makes it a lot quicker and easier. You get to design everything, and then you can import all that out for our bender, and then we can bend the roll cage, and it'll fit inside of the car with X.
We do that. We all do that in house.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
That's where Dylan comes in when it comes to designing.
We have our engineers here. They can draw all that stuff up after we get the 3D model from the scan card, and we'll get all those programmed. And we got a programmed CNC bender that we can bend all that stuff, and we'll be able to build the roll cage without the body actually on it.
Well, as much as I dread seeing that happen, Corvettes are my favorite cars. I'm looking forward to seeing the transformation, and then when it's all together, and we're gonna have it ready for him to race. And
I believe the first event is beginning of the summer. I forget exactly which month it is, but not a long time.
Not a long time. So there's no off season here at the garage shop like NASCAR shops, right? They're in an off season. We're kind of chumming along here pretty good.
Yeah, we'll stay busy. We got a lot of projects going on. Those are the ones we got right now. We got some other stuff in the works. So we got a busy winter ahead of us here.
Okay, so one of your friends, Matthew Vayner? Vayner? Okay.
Yeah, Vayner.
Says, Derek. So there you go. Say hi to him. That's good.
How's it going, Matt?
Spencer, our engineer, what are some garage shop speed secrets? Well, Spencer, you know the answer to that. Come on. Tex Carlson money. That's Harlan there. That's nice. We got to get these guys watching from the shop. So what is it that you like to see the results? That's what I ask you. So we design everything. You see it on a computer, CAD. We bring it in here. We put it on. We start doing this. Like the Roadsters, you've seen how those were built. And when we take them there, what's it like for you personally, being a racing person, to see those come to life and then be successful?
That's the coolest part of what we get to do here. Even outside of racing, it's always cool when you get to see something from nothing and build it and then see it perform.
Right.
And here we get to build things that go perform, and you basically get judged on what you did because you're competing.
Right.
And to see them perform well, and hopefully this coming up here possibly set some records with the Roadsters. That's what you do it for. You know, you do it. Obviously, we have a great group of guys here, and we enjoy working together, and we enjoy what we do. But it's really cool when you go to the racetrack or to the event, and what you worked so hard on and spent so much time on goes out and performs well. It's very satisfying, and there ain't very much that beats it.
And these cars all look so unique. When we were at SEMA in Las Vegas, I mean, we sat in the safety clean booth, and it was unbelievable. People were coming up and taking pictures and asking questions, and the memories it brought back. And you guys were talking to all these people, and it was so great to see because there were so many pictures taken and so much interest. And that was Legacy of Speed TV show on MAV. Thanks to all you watch. By the way, 262,000 households have seen the show since it debuted, so that's pretty good.
That's great.
But these cars weren't in it. The other cars were the Dodge Daytona and the Ford Talladega. So these have yet to make their TV debut. But there's a lot of interest, and people have followed along what we're doing with these.
Yeah, there was a ton of people that had seen them through following our Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. They had seen the cars. They wanted to come check them out. And outside of that, there was people that had never seen them before of all ages. And that's cool. You expect to see some of the older generation of the car guys, that's been doing it and stuff. But it was very surprising. There was actually several young people who were very intrigued at the Roadsters and asked us a lot of questions. And one of the young men, actually, his family does land speed racing.
So he was very
and
interested.
he talked to Max for probably 20 minutes, and they came back after the day was done for the show with his dad, and they talked to us for a good while. Very, very interesting to have young people still interested in cars and instead of wanting to be on their phone or Xbox.
Which, yeah, we know how that goes. All right, so you've driven in circles. Any interest in doing a land speed run? Come on,
I would.
Every racer, you have it in you, yes or no?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I've gotten old enough to be too smart enough for it yet, but I don't think there's anything you ask me to get in the drive. I'd say no.
Oh, I know when we were in Pahrump, the dry lake bed, Vance's like, hey, when we're done, everybody's going to go out and drive these. I'm like, no, I'm not. He goes, well, I'm not doing it. He goes, wait, I don't belong in there. I don't not deserve to be in that car and running it because, one, I'm unqualified. Two, I didn't work on it. But everyone else wants to. Go for it. But and you guys were all like, really? Like, we can do this? And I was like, oh, here we go. But yeah, which is good that, Vance likes to reward people for their hard work, which is great.
Yeah.
We got a couple minutes left. Any questions here? We got 5 minutes left. Ask your questions here. This time to get them answered. You have the shop foreman, crew chief, and asphalt. Now soon to be dirt driver, rookie on dirt driver.
Yeah. Should be fun.
We're going to show up just to watch all that. Here we go. Chick Hunnemer. Is there no age restrictions except your self-confidence?
I guess it depends on which series you're running. Different tracks, different series have age restrictions. As far as like the late model ranks, it's typically around 14, but they have been lowering them this year. So it depends on what series you're going to run and what track you're going. I would have to look at for what the land speed stuff is, but I'd imagine that's a little bit older.
I think you have to be a licensed driver. And I want some experience because you just can't. You have to go through a process.
Yeah, even if they say you can drive a car at Bonneville, you have to go through their process to get qualified. You and the car both. They put the car through a rigorous safety check, and once that passes, and they make you do bailout testing to make sure you can get in and out of the car safely. Once you do all those things, they'll start you on a short course and run to a certain speed. And if you do that to their satisfactory, they'll move you up to the next speed, and they'll actually license you to go to the full course and see how fast your car can go. So it's a very strenuous process when you go out to Bonneville with the SCTA for them to give you a license to run.
Well, I mean, Vance last year, so he's 63.4. He had to go through all the testing. He had to do the run, on the 4 mile track, and then you do 2 runs on that, and then you maintain, and then they cut him loose on the big track. But you just don't show up and go, I'm ready to race. I mean, there's a process you have to go through.
Yeah, there's a strenuous process they go through, which is good. I mean, you're taking cars out there, depending on what car you have and the class you're running, capable of 200 mile an hour. So you have to know what you're doing and make sure the cars are safe.
All right.
So,
Chick Hunnemer says, I was your bailout person at Speed Week. Is there a story there or no?
Oh, I remember you, Chick. Yeah. You drove your Roadster out. You remember Chick coming out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
the Salt Circus.
Oh, that was him. Okay, got it.
Her.
Okay, got it. Thanks. Her. Sorry. Thank God Spud's here in the background. Spud McGee coming up on an episode soon. Swiss Hog Thunderbolt. All I need to get the 63 Falcon on the Salt is a sponsor. Well, hey, welcome to the world of racing there, Swiss Hog, right?
Yeah.
Any sponsors you have on your so far searching for?
Yeah, I'm searching for Schultz Fuel Cells. I've talked to him. He's a friend, business partner, and he's if anybody needs fuel cells, look up Schultz Fuel Cells and Schultz Manufacturing.
There you go.
But I think he's going to help out some next year. Outside of that, I don't have any at the moment. So
okay. Well, there you go. Looking like every other race car driver out there. Looking. Well, that's good. All right, we're going to wrap this up. First of all, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
And thanks to all you. We're going to give more notice. We figured everything out today, so we'll give more notice next time when to do it. But Derek Kearns, there's your shop foreman here at the garage shop and crew chief on Vance's number 88 Labware Roadster and whatever else he gets to get with. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate all you doing. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Hey, Merry Christmas.